generations around here. We believe this is probably the largest bust of illegal marijuana cultivation in the history of the Bay Area. We're somewhere at about anywhere between 100,000 plants and estimates as high as 500,000 by the time we calculate all of the evidence and get all of our team leaders to get us all of our information back. So we've also seized upwards of close to $10 million in cash and assets. We've also seized 12,000 pounds of processed product ready to be distributed out into the community. That's worth somewhere in the neighborhood of about $40 million. In addition to that, there's a tremendous amount of weapons were seized, over a dozen weapons, handguns, rifles, shotguns. So those have also been seized. We've identified 7 main individuals that we believe are the structure of this organized crime group. Those individuals are in custody, and some others we'll be searching for as well. In talking with our investigators, we kind of scratched the surface with this, and that we could continue on with this investigation, probably take us all over the state of California if we keep following up on it. A lot of questions will be why are we doing this? Well, this is all unsanctioned. This is operating outside the law. He is too. So these are all unsanctioned. There is marijuana is legal in California, medicinal marijuana, recreational marijuana. That is regulated by the state of California. I can tell you that this grow is not. There's money laundering going on here. There's all sorts of illegal activities associated with these grows, and they're basically circumventing the legalized system to be involved in the cannabis industry, and they're doing that strictly for profit. So we have forensic accountants and a whole host of other people that will be doing all of that follow-up, asset seizure. Ultimately, all of that money, we'll seize it. It'll go through the judicial process. At some point, we hope that money will go back into the community and be used to help law enforcement and the community in regards to public safety. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the investigation. It's so massive that we have probably over 100 personnel assigned to this. We've had to pull people off of different jobs just to contend with the amount of evidence and marijuana that we're dealing with. So it's a tremendous effort. We had our allied agencies in the county helping us as well, and it was an enormous undertaking. Like I said, 18 months of an investigation, culminating with all these different sites. So this is just one site that we gave you all access to today. This pales in comparison to some of the other ones. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of about 500,000 square feet of room that was being used to grow marijuana. So 500,000 square feet. To give you some comparison, our Santa Rita jail is one of the bigger jails in the nation, is about 1 million square feet. So 500,000 square feet of grow space. This is, if you were going to grow marijuana at like a high-tech, big tech level, it would look like this. This has never been seen before. It's all computerized, automated. It's all done systematically. It's run and organized extremely well. It's very impressive, the amount of work and leadership that has gone into this. Not to mention the infrastructure, the investment in the infrastructure. We have one of the locations in Oakland, well over $1 million worth of generators. These locations pull off so much power that they have to create their own energy. They buy $100,000, $200,000 generators. I think we had 10 of them over at one of the Oakland sites to operate.
So who are these people that do this? I mean, is this a local, gang, for lack of a better
Well,
word?
it is organized crime, and these individuals they operate kind of below the radar, off the radar, and they're strictly in this for profit. We're obviously following the tentacles of this, but this is a group of people that went into business together, and they work and operate like a corporation. and a legal enterprise, and they're very successful. And they've probably been one of the major suppliers of marijuana to get it into our retail industry. So we believe that this marijuana is being grown here without unregulated, and that at some point it makes its way into the retail dispensary cannabis industry that's in our communities. And so they're skipping the part of the process where they should be regulated by the State Department of Cannabis Control. And so they have bypassed that part, and they're wholesaling to our sanctioned retailers out in the community. So this will probably put a big dent in the supply chain at the retail level.
And remind us what you have to do with the seized marijuana.
What's that?
Remind us what you have to do with the seized marijuana.
So all of the seized marijuana, there's so much here, and there's so much that we've confiscated, that we had about a dozen tractor trailer trucks filled with cannabis. That has been taken to the Central Valley and is in the process of being burned and destroyed at a factory out there that gets rid of, that's allowed to burn that. So we had to get court orders and permission to destroy that. You could not store that amount of cannabis. It puts off toxic ammonia, and it ultimately molds, and it becomes really a hazmat situation, a biohazard situation. So we destroyed it while it was still fresh, which was the safest way to dispose of it. So we'll have a final weight today. They're going to weigh all those trucks in and out of the facility, but it's in the tens of thousands of pounds of product.
Why not auction it off to help recoup some of the costs?
Yeah, we get a lot of questions like, well, why would you, marijuana is legal, marijuana is medicine for some people. Why are you doing this? Well, this is unsanctioned. This is not legal. This does not meet the thresholds and guidelines as prescribed by the state of California. And so I don't think that we would take on the liability of vouching for this cannabis and wanting it to go into our community. So it needs to be destroyed. The courts have agreed and have ordered it to be so. And that's what we're dealing with. So we understand that. We understand that people will look at this investigation and say, and disagree with the fact that the marijuana is being destroyed. This is basically modern day bootlegging like we saw in the 1920s. People where you can make money. At the end of the day, don't forget, this is all about money. This is all about money and profiting and greed. And these people, when we find upwards of 40 Rolex watches at a location that are worth probably 10,000+. I believe one of the watches we found was worth about $60,000. These individuals have $1 million sitting in their closet. They have so much money that they can't even put it in banks. That's pure greed. That's not helping our community. That's not going back into the community to make it better. This money is being laundered, and people are profiting off of it and living elaborate lifestyles based on that: cars, jewelry, money, houses, and that's what we're dealing with. This is not helping the average community member that's struggling every day to make a living.
Can you talk about the danger it posed to the community?
Yeah. So one of the main things we obviously one of the big topics in our community is environmental issues, climate change, keeping our environment clean, pollution. These places are mass polluters. The amount of fertilizers and chemicals that are going into the drainage systems and being pumped out of here, chemicals, fertilizers, mold, all of that stuff is harmful to our community. So there is a severe environmental impact that goes on with these locations, and so much so that the state will probably come in and have to take samples of these locations to see what actual chemicals are here. A lot of these chemicals known to cause cancer in human beings. So that's part of the problem with all of this. When you have no control, no guidance, people will take full advantage of it and operate outside the guidelines of the law, and that's what we have here.
And also, were you saying something about a fire hazard?
The amount of power and juice going through this facility is incredible. This is a fire waiting to happen. You can see, we'll show you the illegal wiring that's running through this building. Thousands of watts of power being pulled off the grid in an era where we're being asked to conserve power, we're being asked to save power, we're having brownouts and public safety power shutoffs, and facilities like this, they don't care about the bills and the prices of that. They're making so much money that the power crisis in California means nothing to them. So that's all part of the equation when you take down a location like this and an organized enterprise like this. It's multifaceted. It's the profiteering, it's the environmental harm, it's the climate issues, it's all of the things that we're trying to combat in the state. And these people are taking full advantage of it and making millions and tens of millions of dollars going right into their pocket with nobody to answer to.
Can you say where the other locations were?
All of the locations were within the city of Oakland, the city of San Leandro, the city of Hayward, and Castro Valley.
What's going on behind you here? Was it you guys at the ramp?
This was, we ran these gates. I'll remind you, this is one of the smaller grows. There's only maybe about 10,000 plants here. Some of the other locations had much more. This was a smaller grow site tucked away down here near the San Leandro Marina, off the beaten path. You'd never know it was here. The air that's coming in and it's being filtered by massive HEPA filters and being released back into the air. You can't smell it from the outside. It's very sophisticated, very well done. They're pumping actually CO2 in to the plants to make the plants grow bigger and stronger. And according to our investigators, this is some of the best high quality marijuana that they've ever seen. I mean, this is top quality stuff, probably going somewhere around $3,500 per pound. And we have about 12,000 pounds of it right now as we speak.
What's the stuff in the trash bags?
This is all marijuana here. This is the best way to get it, is we put it in these bags. We'll put it in trucks. You see a truck here. We're going to haul this off to the Central Valley, to the incinerator, have it burned. Like I said, we did 12 tractor trailer loads of that today under armed law enforcement presence. Hopefully they're going to be done soon, turn around, come back, and we got more to do. We also have more locations that we're going to hit. We've been working this for 2 days. Our people are tired, they're exhausted, it's a lot of work. So much so that we had to go and get chainsaws and gas-powered hedge trimmers to cut down all the plants, because otherwise it would have taken us weeks and weeks to cut all this down by hand. There's one right there.
So is there any possibility that some of these legal dispensaries are going to get caught up in this because they got bought basically illegal or ended up?
Well, I think it all depends on where we want to go with this. And I think at this point, this thing has tentacles that go probably all over the country. At some point, we're going to have to cut it off. Right now we have our hands full with what we have and the resources that we have and dealing with the amount of product and assets and different people. So I believe, and talking with our experts in the narcotics world, that this will have an impact on the retail market, probably for a short period of time, a few months maybe, but ultimately I would imagine someone will be willing to fill in the gaps.
I think you were saying you think this is going into actual legal dispensaries,
Yeah.
not the black market in other states.
No, we think that there's dispensaries that can get it at a cheaper rate. They're obviously going to do that versus getting it from a grower that's being taxed and regulated. They can get it at a cheaper price from an unregulated grow. Obviously, save money, get it into the retail market. Ultimately, helps their profit margins.
So I think that to Maureen's point, and if somebody knows they're doing that, could they potentially also be?
That would be up to that we'll turn over all of our information to the state, and if the state wants to follow up with those retailers and those dispensaries and say, hey, or fine them or whatever the process is, that's up to them. We're here at the start of it all, and that's with this illegal, unsanctioned grows that are problematic for our communities.
So this basically grew out of the legalization.
The legalization of marijuana has created a underground market for marijuana, and it has a lot to do with taxation and regulation. And taxation and regulation come with oversight and penalties. And when you decide not to operate under those guidelines, life's a lot easier until you get caught, and your profit margins are bigger, and you don't have to answer to the state of California or the local authorities. And so that's what they do. We see this in other industries as well, but California's marijuana cultivation is alive and well, and this is an example of it. And we believe this is probably one of the largest grows in the state, if not on the West Coast. And this is a big organized network that operates like a corporation.
Is there any tie, do you think, to, say, the Mexican cartels? I mean, I know it used
We
to
haven't
be-
seen that, we have not seen that connection, but there is organized crime involved in this. There's different types of organized crime, but this is strictly profiteering, money.
And Ray, have these guys been charged yet, or are these just like companies?
Some of them have been charged and they've been arrested, and there's other people who we're still, they know who they are, and we'll be after them as well.
Was it Chinese mafia? There was a Chinese calendar?
I'm not going to get into that all yet. I'm going to let our people finish what they're doing. I'm not going to identify a particular culture or ethnic group that's doing it, but these people have connections to foreign nationals, and they're profiteering, and they obviously have 500,000 square feet of real estate in the Bay Area. It's pretty extensive.
Are you going to be releasing names, mugshots, and all that?
I will talk to our people and see where they are with it.
Are they? You
There's still stuff going on in the investigation, so we got to be mindful that if we start putting out names, that might impact locations and things that we're looking at.
So they're in custody, they've been booked, or?
Yes,
Okay.
some of them, yes.
Okay. Some of it, up to 7, or?
Yeah,
Okay, but not all 7 are.
right. And there's probably more people that are going to find themselves talking to us.
I think you said 7 are in custody, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm sure they'll bail out because they have millions of dollars to post bail. So.
Can you say a little bit more about the tip that came in 18 months ago? Was it just from a community member? Was it a phone call? Was it like
It was just kind of we were advised that this was going on, and like I said, someone gave us that information. We're not going to say who gave us that information, but obviously we looked into it, and then over time built up an investigation, and that's our job. That's how our jobs start. They start with information, investigative leads, and then we follow it up. And in this case, they did an incredible job, and put a lot of work into it, 18 months worth of work, and so that's a very long-term, sophisticated investigation, and this is the culmination of it.
Are they going to cut down that one room with all?
Yeah, we're going to cut it down for you. Yeah.
I don't need it cut down so much. I'd like to just stand up in there before they cut it down.
Oh, you could do that. We'll do that. We're willing to work with you, obviously, on that. Are there any more questions in regards to this whole operation that I can answer for you?
I'm just curious about the other buildings. Were they like also kind of warehouses?
Massive warehouses, some of them up to like 100,000 square feet. 60, 70,000 square feet was a common number that we dealt with. I don't know how many square feet this one is. I would guess maybe 10,000 square foot. This is one of our smaller ones, but we just wanted to use it as an example to show you kind of what we were dealing with. But some of the other locations, they had corporate style furniture, break rooms. They had wine refrigerators with $1,000 bottles of wine that they would just sip on. Televisions, vending machines, break rooms, television screens. You'll see these little chairs when you walk through the scene. There are people that their whole job is just to snip and cut the product, package it. Like I said, we've got 12,000 pounds of packaged product, and according to our investigators, some of the most high quality marijuana that you can find anywhere in the world.
These folks who are sitting in these little chairs, any evidence of like human trafficking?
We're going to look at that angle, but surprisingly, we're not seeing anything like that. That these folks are being compensated well to be trimmers and gardeners in the facilities, and we don't see any signs so far that there's any type of human trafficking. Anybody's under duress or being held doing a job against their will.
Can we do some cutting?
I'm ready when you're ready.
Look, that's it,
All right, we're done. Good, Kevin? I miss anything?
Just be careful that, I don't know if you heard the pump turned on, so it started flooding.
Yeah,
It was
it's
raining
not
for
coming
water to come
out.
over here. So there's going to be some standing water back in there. I got you. And this is
We'll be all right. We'll be out of
It's
here.
good stuff.
dirty water.
It's juice.
Me, bro.
It's juice.
That's what they put on this Jersey Mike
Bottle it
stuff.
up and put it on your
The same stuff they put on Jersey Mike stuff.
dad would be proud.
Totally would. Yes. Get that shit out of my backyard.
My dad would be proud. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that shot.
This is good stuff. This is a adolescent plant, so it hasn't budded yet. You can see once you cut the stuff down, it dies quick. You see this has only been cut down the last hour. The leaves start to wilt pace out.
I get
It's
greedy
incredible the
all the
amount of
time.
water these need to.
I'm like, oh, I
stay
didn't
alive.
get that shot. The only thing and I don't think Laura's gonna
Maybe
get
10,000.
like I should go like
I was doing all that. I did like a 64 run up. Sorry, so I just.
perfect talk about it being like a total firehouse. I think you'll be alright with those shots. If you
We took some. No, it's all.
A lot of real estate. Sorry.
It's all good.
Did you get a walk around?
No, not yet.
All right, where's my chainsaw trimmer, people?
Where's my landscaper? Landscapers, please.
Remember Charlie Plummer back in the day? He took the chainsaw on the courthouse steps. There's a picture of him. Very famous video of
What'd you
Sheriff,
do with it?
Sheriff Plummer. They were cutting his budget, and he pulled out a chainsaw.
yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
And he sawed through a.
Wow.
Take pieces of it.
Is that what your dad used in the backyard?
So anytime he's got
My mom's
cut out
plant?
one, we
Yes.
need some of that. We need that kind of theatrics from our.
Let's see
Oh,
if
you're
that's
gonna get
the
some
one-
theatrics.
Let's see if that's the one that was flooded. You guys almost got me getting injured.
Who's our cutters?
You have the other saw up there?
Lily, you want to be a chainsaw chopper? Leaf chopper?
I think we're gonna come downstairs.
Should have stand up in that last one real quick before you guys chop it down.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta cut it down up there.
You're talking shit, now he's on. Which one? Oh, wait, it's down there, huh? Bring your cameras.
Oh, hold on. We're gonna follow him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Like falling.
In the orange room. Let's see what we got. Follow us.
Is this that dirty water?
I think we're going to the orange. Yeah. Fertilizer water.
Fertilizer water. So will it help me grow?
It's leaking here. Here's where it's leaking. Watch out. Watch out, it broke.
So I would recommend, if you guys want to go down the aisle while our guys, it's hot in there, so
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
if you're a photog and you want to go in, I'd go down the aisle,
Okay.
make room, and then I'll send the chainsaw team in.
Do you want to do this? Henry, do you want to do your stand up before they chop it?
Wait, he's not jumping. We're not jumping. Can't really see what.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah, go do your stand up.
Okay, here, wait, let me get out of your way.
Sorry, guys, I didn't realize.
Laura too wanted to get in here.
Sorry. 7 are all in custody or chart or just
Yeah.
7?